Initially, after seeing the Batman trailer, I was super excited about how dark and gritty it seemed to be, and I will say that this is one area that Marvel fails and DC exceeds. Well, I might say that DC doesn't exceed it much, but they at least try to do darker stories where Marvel doesn't even try to go near all that. And whether you're a fan of Ben Affleck's Batman or not, I think there are a lot of things to look forward to in this coming iteration of Batman. And before you say, oh, but Demon, all you talk about is Marvel stuff, no. Although I do prefer Marvel comics and Marvel characters over DC, I like to talk about anything that has to do with any sort of superpowered anything. So that's why I'm talking about this. Now, I do have one issue with the trailer, and ironically, to talk about the issue with the trailer, we do have to mention a movie first, which is from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther. Now, on surface level, Black Panther and this Batman movie are complete opposites. They're about as far apart as you could possibly be as far as, like, the style. But the one thing I'm worried about, that the same thing happened in Black Panther, what happened to Batman, is they put so much emphasis and so much protection with his suit. Now, I understand that you're not going to have a superhero that goes out there with a suit that's going to get killed by one bullet. Like, I understand that. But hear me out. During the entire run of Black Panther, you only really think that he's going to be injured or killed during one scene in the movie, which is when he's have his shirt off and he's versing Killmonger in that little pool of water. The rest of the time that he's doing any sort of fights, you're not worried about him in any kind of way. Because it doesn't matter, right? He could jump on grenades, he could take bullets, explosives, it doesn't matter. It might hurt him like somewhat, but it doesn't pierce the armor, so it doesn't matter because the bullets will never hurt him really. Like, they might leave bruises, but they will never kill him. So just with the suit alone, you're given no sort of threat that he's ever going to be injured or die, so then the scene that he has to be, injured or quote unquote die in that movie is when they take his suit off. So if you take a look at the last Batman trailer that came out, you see a scene where he's being gunned down in this hallway with little to no fear about anything that happens to him or his suit because it does no damage. He's just walking straight towards them and then eventually starts beating them up. So I'm really scared that they're going to make the suit just so broken, just so overpowered that guns don't affect him, like bullets, anything that doesn't hurt him, so that it doesn't really get any sort of threat that he's going to be injured or die at any part in the movie when he's got the suit on. But if they do choose to go down this direction where they allow his suit to tank most of the damage that he's getting shot at him, you have to combat him with something else. You have to combat him intellectually. So let's sidetrack for a second and talk about something that's kind of off topic, which is the anime Death Note. The reason this show was so successful is because you had two incredibly intelligent people trying to outdo each other. They are so calculated with everything they do, everything they say, everything that they just express on their face to any extent, because one slip up is enough for the other one to catch on to what they're doing. Now imagine instead of these two incredibly intellectually smart characters going at each other mentally, you just have one of them show up and say, or we'll just say L. L shows up and meets Light for the first time and he's like, I know you're the killer, and then he shoots him. If that's how the story ended, everyone would be wondering why they were so smart. Like, what did that have to do with anything? Like, sure, Elle figured it out, but why did they both have to be so smart if it ended in such a stupid way? Now back to Batman. If you have Batman being the world's greatest detective, and all he does is walk down hallways full of gangsters and mobsters and get shot at, but it doesn't matter because he can tank all the bullets and just punching people left and right, that no longer matters. So if the world's greatest detective is shown doing little detective work, shows up, knows exactly who the bad guy is and what he's trying to do, and kills him, that's not fun, that's not exciting, and it's definitely not dark. So, if you keep his suit as overpowered as it is, and just let him soak up bullets, you need to have a bad guy who can just combat him mentally. And I think the Riddler is actually a really good choice for this. Say what you want about how Jim Carrey did the Riddler, like, I didn't really care for it. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really care for it. I feel like it was a little over the top. But if you take the same concept of that character and just throw him into a more dark, gritty setting, I think that could do really, really, really well against Batman in a dark, gritty story. So I'm hoping they, even though Batman's suit is basically invulnerable, they let Bruce Wayne be incredibly intelligent and allow the Riddler to be incredibly intelligent as well, and just have them going back and forth trying to just outdo the other. And that's what I want to see in a Batman movie. Like, I do not want to see Batman side by side with Superman and Wonder Woman fighting a giant CGI monster when he's like, his teammates are gods and demigods. Like, no, you don't need to do that with Batman. He needs a dark, gritty, down-to-earth story that has large impacts on his character and the city of Gotham, not necessarily end-of-the-world stuff. You can leave the giant CGI fights to like Superman and Shazam and Wonder Woman and just allow him to do a really nice detective noir story. Now, kind of like I was worried when Carnage was announced that it was going to be rated PG-13, I'm also kind of worried that this Batman movie that's supposed to be dark and gritty is also being rated PG-13. I thought Venom 2 was going to be the next rated R movie for a superhero film that was going to kind of give us that nice little step forward that we haven't had since Logan. Yes, I know Deadpool was rated R and it's a superhero film and it came out after Logan, but I don't think it really gives emphasis on the dark and gritty story that I think some superhero stories really favor. And Batman, this Batman, is one of those. I think it could favor really well doing a rated R dark story. But with that being said, I am really excited for this movie, and as long as there's no big CGI fights towards the end, I'd say we're on our way to a pretty good Batman film. Thank you for watching.